available, but at a higher price and totally restricted so that it would be way down to maybe 2 or 3 or 4% of the population could afford to smoke them or have places where they'd be allowed to smoke them. Would we ever reach a point whereby it would be 100% gone? I'm wondering, where literally cigarettes would be banned outright. I think it's a point that John wanted to pick up at. Did you ever smoke, incidentally?
Yeah, when I was about 17, when I thought it was very cool and, the usual, when you're that age, you think that you're a great man with your cigarette in your hand and you're trying to impress the girls and all, whatever, right? But thank God, I never got addicted to them. It was very short, very, very, very short time that I actually experimented with cigarettes. I remember, Neil, going way back before the smoking ban, actually live in here talking to you. And if you remember that time...
The smoking ban, 2004. So last year we celebrated the 20th anniversary. Yeah, okay, go on.
Yeah, if you remember at the time, there was publicans. They were livid. They were on the air with you.
Yeah.
Some of them were... I was on with you. Some of them were giving out help to me at the time. And they were livid, and Armageddon was being preached that they weren't going to comply and everything. But when they got a visit in from the health inspectors and they were told that their licence would be in jeopardy, which would be renewed once a year, they were long complying then, right? Now, there was a 12 months date leading to the smoking ban that time. Right? So everybody knew that in that certain date that you couldn't smoke in buses, trains, in public areas, cafes, hospitals, whatever. No, in the lifetime of this government, it will take us right up to 2030. Let's set that date in stone, that by 2030, cigarettes will be no longer available in shops to purchase, and vapes.
Okay, so where do you think that's going to do? You have no cigarettes in shops in 2030, you have no vapes or anything, you have no pipe tobacco, or whatever the case may be, so you can only buy it on the black market and illegally.
Well, you see, this is it. I mean, this is the whole thing, scenario that's put out there, then that, the black market will thrive and this, that, whatever. I don't believe everyone will go to the black market then, because you don't know what's in those damn cigarettes anyway. A lot of them are full of chemicals and whatever. They're actually worse than the legitimate cigarettes, we say, right? I mean, the amount of people that are presenting themselves on a daily basis, right, over cigarette-related illnesses, right across the board, is absolutely frightening. If you talk to some nurses, they will tell you something which you'll never read, of course, when you're talking about cigarettes, is the amount of people that lose limbs every year because they have circulation problems that are attributed to heavy cigarette smoking, right? And they end up losing a leg. But you'll never hear that in the front page of any paper or on the 6 o'clock news, right? And that happens right around the country.
You'll see it on the fag boxes now, all of those. Horror photographs.
Another thing, you see, people sometimes need to be protected against themselves. Right? Sometimes the governments take decisions, people will be outraged. More times it's for the good. And this to me would be for the good. If you went into a supermarket...
It's for your own good. Yeah, it's for your own good.
And if you saw a box of cornflakes up in the shelf, and on that box of cornflakes that they were asking €20 for, and on that box of cornflakes was cornflakes eaters will die younger. Cornflakes will give you cancer. That box of cornflakes will be left to rot on that shelf because no one in their right mind would buy any food product with a label on it saying that will give you cancer. So why do people pay €20 for something and it's written on
There's a lot of proof. There's a lot of food products on shelves, incidentally. While they mightn't come with warnings like that, they are very dangerous to people's health and they lead to all sorts of problems with regards to their weight, their blood sugar levels, their cognitive recall, their amount of sugar they're eating, carbohydrates, fat, bad fats. You open the door of certain fast food restaurants around the world, and if you engage in that kind of food way too often and all the trends stuff associated with it,
the thing is, you see, like
it'll damage your arteries, it'll damage your heart. Yeah. So,
if you go to McDonald's once a week, that will do you no harm, or once a month, right? But if you have a couple of fags a day, they are doing you harm. Simply, the late Morris Neil, he was one of the top heart surgeons in the country. He was attached to the Black Rock Clinic, Neil, right? And he said, straight publicly years before he died, right, that if cigarettes could be banned off the face of the earth on Ireland, he said, lung cancer would disappear.
But you'd have to be taking on the likes of the biggest smokers in the world first to get anything like that done, and that would be the Chinese, the Americans, Eastern European countries, the Turks, mad for smoke, in fact.
All it takes, like, I mean, is the willpower to do it. I mean, I remember saying to me, Hal Martin, when I was on speaking terms at that time, that what you actually done, you have a decision taken to, and stuck by, even though he was getting berated by the industry itself, like, and the publicans, that the decision you've taken has saved lives going forward, right? And he said, "You think so?" I says, "I know so." And I'm not trying to annoy anyone. Well, I want to see people well. I don't want to see people that I've seen down with chronic emphysema, barely able to walk around their one house and I go outside the door, Neil, right? I want to see an end to that. And to me, the end to that would be setting in stone by 2030, cigarettes and vapes would be non-existent.
Okay, because now at the moment we've moved on to snus, which is the small little pouches that people are putting between their teeth and their gums, and children in school classes have them because they can't get through a period in class without a vape or a fag or a piece of snus. They're so addicted.
And I live on this, like, this is the problem you see with the vapes to me. I mean, it took years before we found out the amount of chemicals that these manufacturers were putting in cigarettes. It will be the same story with the vapes. We'll find out in years to come, in the name of Christ, why do we allow this?
Okay, so your point can only hold water if you're saying that cigarettes should be banned completely and utterly. We should set a date because of the amount of money it's costing the health system and the taxpayer to look after the lives and the health of smokers. Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's enough of people turning up in front of Southern City, you know, for their operations, that they've got cancer, organic illnesses that came about with no fault of their own for the person themselves. But the people that are taking up space and hospital beds and hospital consultants and costing the whole health sector a fortune are the smokers.
But you'd still treat, like today in 2025, you wouldn't say that we shouldn't treat people with smoking-related illnesses, would you?
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying set a date forward 2030, and we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Much obliged, thank you. I'm 60, smoked since I was 12. I went to Miriam O'Shea last year. She is a psychotherapist. She works for the HSE. I went to the orthopedic hospital once a week for 4 weeks, and I was off the fags for good. Couldn't believe it. She's known as the Quit Nurse, and it's free. Here's the helpline, 1-800-201-203. Thank you for that. Neil, I'd recommend Champix for giving up smoking, 3-month prescription. Is that the kind of the gum, is it? Champix, the gum. I was just listening to the lady wanting to give up smoking. If she's a reader, Alan Carr, Easy Ways to Stop Smoking, helped me as well to stop after 20 years. It's life-changing. You can also listen to the audiobook. So it's 6 hours long. I wish her the best of luck to Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. We also had a girl on the air a little while ago who actually went to the clinic in Dublin. I think it cost her, I know I wrote it down somewhere, I can't remember where I wrote it down, €360 for the 6-hour session. Text 0868 104 106. There's all of that, Shrove Tuesday, pancakes and all sorts of nice things like that, as well as the dirty fags after the break.
Call Neil now, 0818 104 106.
The Neil Prendeville Show on Red FM.
Hold on there, Helen.